Hi, 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 hi. Hello, guys. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me back again. So, let me adjust the seat. Right. Hi, Um, hi. Happy weekend. Happy Saturday to every one of you here. My name is Wemimo, and I'm also known as Thatmumof5 and also known as TMO5 Candle Co. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you who are joining me for the first time on my live, thank you so much for joining me. So, me coming back obviously was based on what a few of us requested on my last live that I did about a couple of hours ago. If you've not seen that live, please kindly go watch it. It's very educative. Well, some might not find it educative, but I felt a in a way it kind of like helped us to wake up as to some things we should be sharing on social media and what we should not, and what really we should be coming on social media to beg for. So with that being said, let's go on to this title. So this title, I'm going to start with, obviously we all know this MD Tiamiyu. Like, it's like we are not going to stop talking about this guy. We are not going to stop talking about him. We all know what happened with him, being a dependent person as well under the visa route, where students come into the UK and then they could go on to bring their dependents. We all know since March, I believe, of this year, that rule has changed, which meant that if you're a student, you can't bring your family with you. And with that being said, I used to remember years ago when I was much younger then, when people would travel abroad, say they were going to study. I never see them saying, oh, they're going with their wives, they are going with their families. There was nothing like that. So I don't know if that route was available then, or maybe it's something they started not so long ago. And they obviously, because it's not being used the way it was intended, they the UK government decided to put a stop to it. And I felt like I said from my previous video about this topic, I felt like the Home Office or the UK government already know what they were going to do. They were already keeping an eye on the amount of people who are coming into the UK via the dependent route. And like I said in that video, the UK government had a a target of people they want coming into the UK. And that target years ago, it used to be like they've never had to reach that target, but in the past a year or two, they've reached the target that would take them a year or two to reach in 6 months. So it's like they had a target that, oh, in a year we're expecting 3,000 people, and then in 6 months they get 9,000. So you all know, I believe the UK government were already on the, already looking out for these things. And then obviously MD Tiamiyu was the cause that was fashioned against Nigerians. So obviously, he granted an interview to the BBC to say that Nigerians are not coming here because they need the education. Oh. And I think as Nigerians, we should be proud of ourselves because we are one of the learned people in the world, or maybe in the African continent. Nigerians are one of the learned people in the world. With that being said, I think we should be proud of ourselves. So obviously, MDTMU granted that interview with BBC, and BBC decided that obviously BBC kind of like questioned him and said that yes, Nigerians are not really coming to the UK because they really needed that degree or because they needed that certificate. No, that the main important reason why Nigerians are coming via the student route is as a way of Jackpa. So that was how the Jackpa slogan started. That Jackpa means that as an avenue for them to relocate and leave Nigeria. So it's not as if Nigerians are coming into the UK to study, but just as a Jackpot out, as a means of living their country of above to come settle down here. And I would think in the past years, it's always been good for people, they're able to bring their relatives. People go on to finish studying. Some, if they like, they stay, and some they decide to go back to Nigeria. But it seems like majority of people were coming in. And after Tiamiyu granted that interview to the BBC, then the Home Office came about with the changes, and there was a lot of uproar from the Nigerian community. And don't get me wrong, Nigeria is not the only country that this has impacted on. It's practically impacted on almost every world, or every migrants coming from whatever area of the world they are coming from is impacted on them. But I believe, as Nigerians, our own we are always extra. We always add extra to everything that concerns Nigerians. So, with that being said, Tiamiyu was not seen for a very long time after that interview. You know, I, for one, I was one of the people. I had a content on my channel where I discussed the impact of what he's done, and is my content part of what would have led him to be the most hated person in Nigeria? No. It was dragged by so many people. At some point, he came out with an apology video on Daddy Freeze page, and people were still knocking him. And again, he still went on to other interviews that he said what he said with his chest. Yeah, that he said what he said with his chest. So you guys come and do whatever you like with him. So without all of that being said, there were rumors that he claimed asylum. And then let's go on to that. So what are the eligibility to claiming asylum? So I don't have all this information on my head, but there's an eligibility to claiming asylum. Asylum can be claimed by persons who are already in the UK, and asylums can be claimed at various ports of entries of coming into the UK. So you might be coming from Nigeria, and immediately you step into Gatwick, you might say, yes, I want to claim asylum. Or immediately you get into Heathrow, you might say to immigration there, yes, I want to claim asylum. So asylum can be claimed at any point of entry. So what are the eligibility? So eligibility that I'm reading, I've not made them up. This information is available on the www.gov.uk. Hello, Fashion with Pearl. Thanks for coming back again. So this information that I'm going to be sharing with you, it's on the www.gov.uk/claim/asylum eligibility. So to stay in the UK, as a refugee, you must be unable to live safely in any part of your own country because you fear persecution. So with Tiamiyu claiming asylum, is practically said that, oh, he can't go back to Nigeria. So obviously he came as a dependent under somebody who came to study in the UK. Maybe he is somebody's boyfriend, or maybe he is somebody's fiance or something. So with that being said, whoever he came under them as a dependent, once he finished studying, he won't be able to go back to Nigeria based on what he said has happened. So that's what is. I want to believe that was what he's claimed, that, oh, because of that interview that I granted you guys, the most hated people in Nigeria. And obviously, I would imagine that BBC will have seen all of the content that people made about him and stuff like that. So for him to claim asylum is practically telling the UK government that, oh, I'm facing persecution. I'm going to face persecution in my own country, so I can't go back to Nigeria. So that is the eligibility. And if you are a stateless person, your own country is the country you usually live in. So the persecution must be, so obviously when we are talking about persecution, there are various different types of persecution. So you could be persecuted because of your race, because of your religion, because of your nationality, because of your political opinion, all of these shenanigans about PDP, APC. You could claim asylum based on something like that. And also it says that anything that puts you at risk because of your social, cultural, religious, or political situation in your country. For example, your gender identity, or sexual orientation. So someone like Bobrisky will decide to leave Nigeria tomorrow, come into the UK and say, oh, I want to Kawasuke. Kawasuke meant asylum. I want to Kawasuke because of my gender. As we all know, nobody knows what gender Bobrisky is. We don't know if he's male or female. He's just in between both. So with that, Bobrisky will be eligible to claim asylum in the UK if he decides that that is what he's going to do. So with that being said, processes of claiming asylum. So let's talk about process. So here it says document you need to provide in order to be able to claim asylum in the UK. So documents you must provide. Obviously, you will need to, if you're by yourself, you will need to provide the documentation at which you used to enter the UK. So let's say, for example, you've come in from Nigeria, you've flown into Gatwick, and you decide to claim asylum. They would want your passport. If you have an ID identifying you as a Nigerian, they would want it to confirm what country you originally come from. I've seen cases of people who are actually Nigerians and they've claimed asylum as Ghanaians, as Zimbabweans. Yes, it happens. This is not me telling on people, but I've seen cases like that. So when you're claiming asylum, the British government or the Home Office want to be sure that you are from the country you said you are from. So also they will need document for, so if you've come into the UK with your children or with your family or with your spouse, they will need the documentation of you and your partner and everybody under the age of 18. They will need your documentation. And like I said, the documentation they will need you to submit or to provide them with is your passport and travel documents, the documentation you use to come into the UK. They will need some sort of ID, like ID card to identify you. For example, ID cards, it could be birth certificate, it could be marriage certificate, or even school records, your record from school. You could use that as a form of an identity for you to claim asylum in the UK, or anything at all you think you possess that would help you in your claim for asylum. So those are the documents you will need to prove your identity. With that being said, there are documents also to prove your UK address. So if you're already in the UK, so this is from the website, if you're already in the UK, you and your dependents must bring documents that prove your UK address. So for example, maybe you've been living in the UK for a year, or maybe you came in on the visiting visa, or you came in on a student visa, and something happened. I decided that, oh, okay, rather than going back to Nigeria, that you want to claim asylum, bearing in mind that you have reasons under the eligibility requirements that you can claim asylum. So, like I said, so those are just for people who are already in the UK. So, if you want to claim asylum, then they will need your address in the UK where you've been living prior to the time that you came to claim asylum. So, your address in the UK, they will need that, and that will be what can you use? It could be bank statements, it could be council tax notice, it could be tenancy agreement, it could be maybe a bill. Maybe if you have a broadband in your house, the letter for the bill that the broadband sent, you could use that as a proof of UK address. So that's it. And if you are staying with somebody, obviously, for example, maybe a visitor. So because you're a visitor in the UK, you really might not be able to rent an accommodation on your own, or you might not be able to open a bank account, or you might not have or you might not have an utility bill. So if you're living with somebody, they will require the person you're living with to provide you with a letter to say you've been living with them. You've been living with them and that you have their permission to stay in their accommodation, or documents showing the name and address of the person you are staying with. So let's say, for example, you are staying with somebody who are the ones who rented the accommodation they are living in. So you could ask for a copy of their council tax letter as long as it's in that person's name. And at times they often ask that the person who is the person whose accommodation you are living at, they could ask that person to also write a letter to confirm that you are living at their address. So that's documentation that you'll be needing, or proof to show that you will need to prove that you're already in the UK or you're coming to the UK, like IDs and stuff. So registering your asylum claim. So upon arriving, regardless of where you arrived, when you claim asylum, if you arrived at the airport, immigration officers will process you from the airport. If you're already living in the UK and you are applied through some other charity organization, there are some charity organizations in Glasgow. The one I know is the Scottish Refugee Council. So if, let's say, for example, you arrived in Scotland and decide to go claim asylum, the the organization you would be going through will be the Scottish Refugee Council. So these people will be the one, like if you have their contact, they'll be the one that will, maybe like give it that first welcoming to say, okay, is that what you want to say? They'll be the first person to come to kind of like start asking you questions. Have you just arrived from your country of abroad? Are you already in the UK? Where are you living? And stuff like that. They'll kind of like ask that information. And if you say you don't have where to live, they'll kind of like from there they'll take your details, they'll provide you a temporary accommodation, and then they'll get in contact with the Home Office to say this person has just arrived. We are placing them here. So that's just let the Home Office know that yes, there's somebody here at our organization who said that they want to claim asylum. So afterwards, after these people can like provide, so at times they might not put you in a hotel, they might just put you in a hostel whereby you'll be able to at least sleep, and then they'll provide you with a bit of change and a bit of maybe gift card to, get food and stuff like that. But for the first week or two that you've just arrived into the, let's say you're just arriving for the first time, they will provide you with basic essentials like, food, clothing, and stuff like that. They'll provide all of that for you. Afterwards, the home office will get back to them, because at the end of the day, that organization would serve as the address of the people who are actually escorting you. So, because if the home office needs to communicate with you, any documentation will be sent to those people, and then they will get across to. So they're like a middleman between you and the home office. So after then, they've already notified the home office that that's you, you're already in the UK, and you said you want to claim asylum. Then they would home office will now send you a date with a letter to come for a screening interview. Screening interview. So this screening interview, home office will get in contact with that organization, and then the organization will pass out the letter to you. So let's say you don't know anywhere in Glasgow, they either provide a taxi for you to take you to your appointment and a taxi to bring you back. From experience, that was what they did. And for people that I know, they provided them with transport for the first few weeks before you actually settled into the asylum process. So when you go for your screening interview, the screening interview, they will take your photograph. If you have children, or if you are a whole family, if you're husband, wife, and children, they will take all of your photographs, a picture of all of you, each like a passport style photo. They will take that. They will take your fingerprints, including the children as well, regardless of their age. They will take their fingerprints, all 10 fingers. Yes, I'm telling you, they will take your fingerprints. And the fingerprint obviously is to check if you've claimed asylum or you've been in another country before you come into the UK. That's what they use our fingerprints to check. And also, they will have just like a minimal short interview with you. So ask you who you are, where you are from. And at that instant, they'll be asking lots of questions about where you live originally, what's your address in Nigeria, when did you arrive in the UK, do you have any family back home in Nigeria, do you have what's your address in Nigeria, what job were you doing, are you pregnant if you're a woman, are you married if you're single, all of that information. They will take all of your details like that. And at that instant is when they will also ask if you have any documentation to prove your identity with you. So that will be the passport or any form of ID card. They will ask if you have any of those things or anything that could help with you claiming asylum. They will ask you for those documentation there and there. If you don't have it, it's not a crime. It's not a problem. It's up to the home office to actually confirm or try to confirm your identity is exactly what you say it is. So that's what basically happens at the screening interview. And also, they ask you why you want to claim asylum. From there, you're not going to get it. So it's not like a full interview, but just a short summary as to why you want to claim asylum. And like I said, if you have anything as proof that you think could help your asylum claim, they would ask if you have it with you, and then they will take a copy of it as well. So after that interview, they would they will give you the details of how to find immigration lawyers. It's like a long list of all lawyers in Scotland. It depends on where you're living. If you're in Glasgow, there are lots of immigration lawyers everywhere. So they will give you a list, and they will advise you to get in contact with any of them to take up on your case. So upon leaving there, that's you back to your temporary accommodation, and that's you into the system. So in a way, the organization will still be supporting you in the charity that you went through by the who I said are like middlemen will keep supporting you till the home office take charge of your living. So after the screening interview, it's your responsibility to get yourself a lawyer. And what the lawyer will do is that you meet with the lawyer will set a meeting with you. They will apply for legal aid. Legal aid is to say, okay, this person's not working. They don't have any money stashed away anywhere. They don't have anything to pay for legal fees. So that way, the lawyer will be able to apply for legal aid for you. Legal aid means that since you're not working, any charges that the services they are providing for you will incur, which means that legal aid will pay for that. So, asylum seekers don't pay for legal costs. So, with that being done, along the line, they will start looking for how to place you in an accommodation so that you're not living in hostel or in a hotel for a very long, because living in an hotel is not cheap. So, If you have children, over the years, I've noticed that those who are single parents with maybe single moms or single moms with one child, I've noticed that they can't like place them in a flat. So if you're a woman with one child, they will place you in a flat with another woman with a child. So they are sharing. So you all have your bedroom. So you'll probably be sharing bathroom, kitchen, living room together. And I've seen that in most cases, the person you are sharing with might not be Nigerian. The person might be Cote d'Ivoire, might be something, something. So you'll be sharing. If you're a single person as well, you'll probably be sharing flats with other people. You have your own room in that flat, but you share kitchen, bathroom, all of that together. In those days, back when I came, I was given my own flat. I believe it was a three-bedroom flat, and it was for me and my kids. I did not have to share with anybody. So obviously, we know asylum is not this way it used to be because things have changed, lack of accommodation and stuff like that. So that's basically what happens. So once you are now in the system, you've gotten yourself a lawyer. If the lawyer can take up your case, the lawyer will tell you, yes, I can take up your case. If they can't take up your case, they will refer you to another colleague or somebody or another firm they think they'll be able to help you. So that's how you're going to start your immigration journey. So after your screening interview and you've been sorted for accommodation, you've sorted your lawyer, you keep going back. Your lawyer will have an appointment with you a few times to, ask you why you are claiming asylum. You're going to give your lawyer all the things you have to say as to why you want to claim asylum. And if you have evidence, if you have proof, you're going to give evidence to your lawyer, and then your lawyer will be the one to package all of these things together, package it with laws or policies guiding why you should be able to claim asylum or laws to defend the reason why you are claiming. Lawyers will do their job, and then once they do that, they will ensure to send your statement of asylum, which is your story, to the Home Office at a given time that the Home Office has requested for. So the lawyer is up to the lawyer. As long as you've given the lawyer your story, the lawyer will do their job and they'll make sure these things get sent. So after your story is being sent to the Home Office will send a letter back to say they received your story, and then they will schedule an interview. So that interview is a major interview. It could last for hours, it could be for an hour, it could be for 2 hours, it could be forever. So, and that interview is not always quick. It could take 6 months before Home Office will say, okay, it's time for you to come for your interview. Some people it could take a year. Some people it only had to be that screening interview they had that the Home Office needed for them to accept for them to accept the asylum. Like I said, whatever reason you are using to claim asylum would be dependent on what and why you are claiming asylum. And I think some things that the Home Office often looks at is your original country of abode. Let's say, for example, you've come from Nigeria and you're saying you're claiming asylum. They will look at the current situation in Nigeria to say, okay, if you can't stay, if you Nigeria is not that bad. If you have problem in Abeokuta, why not go to Sokoto? You should be fine in Sokoto. Or if you go to Sokoto and you're not fine, you could go to Kaduna. Like they will always argue that because they feel that Nigeria is one of the safest countries. Well, in quotes. So, like I said, they will give you a date for you to come for that big interview, and that big interview that will come after your lawyers already send all the details to the Home Office about your story and stuff like that. So, once that date of interview comes, like I said, it could be sooner and it could take forever. By this time, the Home Office will have provided you with a card. That card holds as your picture. It's like all this biometric card. That's how exactly it looks. It has your name, your date of birth, where you come from, saying that your immigration status, and it's clearly going to be written on it that not eligible to work, you can't work. And this card is how they will provide you with support. So you can use that card to open a bank account, but you can't work. And then as at when I was in the system, the Home Office will you get financial support via that card from the post office. So every week, there's a way they do all this card payments. So you go to the Home Office once every week. When you get to the Home Office, you hand this card to them at the post office. Whatever amount I think then single people get like £75 or £50 a week, and people with children get more and stuff like that. But I think in the past 5 years, or maybe the past 6 years, they no longer give them cash now. I think they only give them the card, and then you can go to a certain supermarket to shop for food. So maybe on that card they have £70 on it, and then you can go to either Lidl, depends on what store is accepting that card, and you can shop for food. So there was a lot of uproar about that. That what if they need to buy clothes? What if a sales card needs to buy sanitary products? What if they need to buy something else? Like obviously some people will smoke or some people will drink, because with that card you can't buy you can't buy cigarette with it, you can't buy alcohol with it, and stuff like that. So there was a lot of uproar. But I'm not sure how the Home Office went about it in another way, but to the best of my knowledge, they were no longer giving asylum seekers cash. I think single people, they were no longer giving them cash, but people with children, you can still go and collect cash and stuff like that. And they were supporting people, I mean, women who fell pregnant and stuff like that. They were doing that. So this would have been the process that Tiamiyu would have gone through if truly he claimed asylum. And then, so once the big interview comes, the big interview is where they will ask you all the questions. How did you travel out of Nigeria? When did you arrive? When did you first arrive in the UK? Did you arrive straight in the UK? Where was the first? They will ask you everything. How many birds you saw? How many cockroaches you saw? What kind of plane did you fly? Which air? They will ask you everything. What time did you leave your flight? What time did your flight arrive? Where did you arrive? Who was sitting beside you in the flight? How did they will ask you everything and anything? That was why I said that interview takes hours. So once that interview is done, the result could take they might take a while before you get a decision back. Some people are lucky with that interview. The Home Office are convinced with the reason for their claiming asylum, they grant them leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain. And some people, Home Office might reply and say, "Oh, your story, big fat lie that they don't believe you." They will give you reasons why they don't believe all you've said. And then it's up to the lawyer to keep appealing, 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 and bringing evidences and bringing evidence and bringing evidence. There have been cases of people whereby Home Office said they don't believe their story, that your country that you came from is safe enough for you to go back to Nigeria. Your country is safe and stuff like that. So, with that being said, seeking asylum is not an easy process. It's quite stressful because you don't get decisions straight away. Like I said, after that big interview, some people might get a response straight away, maybe after 6 weeks. And it might be, no, we don't believe your story. There's nothing wrong with your country you came from. Go back to your country. And it could be, oh, yes, we know your country is going through this. We believe your story. Or they've looked into your story and they will grant you leave to remain, or indefinite or limited leave to remain, whereby you're able to work and stuff like that. So, in going back to Tiamiyu's case and this claim that he was given £160,000 settlement. No. So when you get asylum in the UK, when you finally, if the Home Office say, oh yes, they believe your story and they've given you indefinite leave to remain, they've allowed you to stay in the UK, you don't get any monetary settlement. Wherever whoever it is that's given that story that they gave Tiamiyu £160,000 to settle in the UK, that's a big fat lie. I'm telling you, the Home Office do not give any asylum seeker any settlement fee. No. So what happens is this: once you get given asylum, you have a final meeting at the Home Office, and that final meeting they will tell you. Obviously, they will have sent a letter to your lawyer to say, "Oh yes, we've granted your client refugee status. So from asylum seeker to a refugee status, that means you've been allowed to stay in the UK." With the thought that, or with the belief that your country of abode is dangerous for you, you don't want to go back, it's not safe for you. Even people who have been, trafficked and stuff like that, those are grounds for claiming asylum as long as it's proof to say that you experienced all of that. So once you now get settled in the UK, they will send a letter to your lawyer, and the Home Office will have a final meeting with you. That final meeting is to just let you know that, okay, one, that's you being granted leave to remain in the UK. You don't have to come and report yourself, because during the asylum system, while you are waiting for your decision, some people, Home Office will ask them to come every week so they know they are still in the UK. And some Home Office will not even ask them to come. But as long as your lawyer, they'll be communicating with your lawyer and stuff like that. So once you get your settlement, they'll have a Home Office will have a final interview with you, and they will tell you that yes, you're no longer required to come here every week or every month whatsoever. You're no longer required to do some things like, okay, now the accommodation we provided for you, we give you 90 days to leave, but then they are not going to leave you on your own. They will liaise with other organizations who will provide you with your permanent accommodation. So they will give you all this contact. They will give you paperwork to, to DWP, where you can register for your social security number, like your NI, where you will go to get, to start seeking for jobs. They will advise you on all of the things you are entitled to from the beginning, from the time you became a resident in the UK. Yes. So, as an asylum seeker, you are not able to work. Once you get settlement, you'll be able to work. You'll be able to apply for NI, National Insurance Number. Before you get your settlement, also, you are still able to use the NHS. You are still able to get, you are able to go to school. You are able to do everything any British child is able to do in the UK, even as an asylum seeker. Yes. The only thing is that there's no money. You can't work. You can't work. So once you get asylum, once you get that, they give you all the proper settlement thingy, letters to go to DWP, the job center. There's some documentation you will fill. If you have any illness that is stopping you from working, once you go to DWP, they will do all of that processing with you. If you want to start looking for a job, DWP job center will do all of that processing with you, because you have a letter from Home Office claiming that yes, that's you, you're allowed to work and all of that. So during all of that period, I'm telling you, you do not get any settlement at all, not a penny. So while you are still looking for a job, there might be some benefits you might be able to apply for, which is not a lot of money. So that money is just what you'll be living on till you find a job. And once you get a job, you get taken off that benefit, and you start earning your own money. You start paying tax, and that's you keep living your life. So, like I'm saying it to you, right? Originally, hear it from my mouth. Home Office do not give any monetary settlement. Maybe the money they gave him, or maybe the money people are claiming was given to him, maybe he was able to apply for a loan, or it could be the money BBC paid him for that interview. Because of all the people that I know that claimed asylum, none of them, none of them got any monetary settlement. No, none of them. And the ones that often get monetary settlement are those who have been trafficked into the UK. I remember I did freelance interpreting. And one of the clients I had, she was also in Nigeria. She was claiming asylum, and she claimed that she was trafficked from Germany, and then she was there. She was used as a sex slave, and at some point, she was there for years. She had all sort of marks, wound all over her body. So, according to her story, she claimed that they used to beat her if she refused to sleep with men, because that was why they brought her. And obviously, before they took her from Nigeria, they said that they were going to give her lots of work as a model. They lied to her that she'll come and be modeling here, only for her to get to Germany, and they started bringing men to her to sleep with and stuff like that. So obviously, according to her story, she tried to escape. She couldn't escape. Every time she tried to escape, they would beat her up. Hence why she has all those marks on her body and stuff like that. And also, she claimed she was in Germany for maybe 3-4 years, and then they sold her to somebody else in the UK, and she was able to use a fake passport to come into the UK by the person who tried to sell her. So again, she said she was being taken somewhere. She doesn't know where in London they took her to, and they also started bringing men to her. Even though at some point she found out that she was pregnant, she does not know who was responsible for the pregnancy, but she believed that it must have been one of the customers that have come to see her that got her pregnant, because they wouldn't use rubber condom and stuff like that. So to cut the long story short, this is a story of someone who has been smuggled into the UK, who has been trafficked. And to the Home Office, there's a law. I can't remember what that law says now. Or there's a policy, and there's a thingy that I can't remember what it's called off my head. So if you have been assessed as someone who has been smuggled into the UK, it means that a crime has been committed against you, because you've been brought to do something you are not aware of. So because of that, as long as the Home Office are able to carry out their investigations, look at all the story you've given, the evidences you've provided as to, okay, you were smuggled, you were in Germany, they were using you to do a shower work, prostitution, and then they transferred you, they brought you, sold you to somebody else, another kingpin in the UK, to continue to do a shower work. As long as the Home Office are able to, carry out their own findings, they will not tell you of their findings, but based on the story you've given, based on the marks, your experiences. It depends on whoever is carrying out, or it depends on whoever is in charge of your file. So based on your story, whatever you've said, the evidence they provide, because with such cases for her, I remember then that she had lots of multiple hospital appointments. Like, there were female gynecological appointments to check her, to see, all of the things she claimed they did to her. At some point, she claimed that they were choking something into her womanhood, that she suffered lots of things. There were lots of marks on her body. There were lots of like bite marks, cigarette marks, knife marks all over her body, like signs to show that she was beaten. There were evidences of that because they took photos. So at the end of the day, Home Office believed that she was trafficked into the UK, and they paid her compensation. I'm not sure how much they paid her, because I remember the lawyer saying that her application for compensation has been approved, but she's not sure how long it will take for them to pay her compensation. So in that person's case now, and I remember she mentioned that she has a child in Nigeria. And this child, she left that child with somebody, she was mentioning so many places in Abeokuta, I don't know. But she mentioned lots of places, and they were like, if I'm telling you now that her child that she says she has in Nigeria, that child is now with her now in Glasgow. Because she got asylum claim accepted, she settled in, and I think that time that was interpreting for her, she was pregnant. It was a pregnancy she claimed that one of her customers must have been responsible for. She gave birth to that child. And I remember the last time, just before COVID, just before the last lockdown, um, the lawyer was working with the person she said was looking after her child in Nigeria to bring her daughter over. So, to the best of my knowledge, that child is with her now in the UK. She's doing fine for herself. And I think she has another child now. So she has maybe two more babies. I'm not sure. I think she has another child now. So that's the only way the Home Office will get you compensated, if they believe that a crime has been committed against you. So if the Home Office did not believe that a crime has been committed against you, and when I'm talking about crimes being committed against you, if you were trafficked into the UK, if you were brought into the UK without your knowledge or without people being straightforward with you, and there are evidences, like I said, if you have evidences to prove that you are facing persecution. Let's say, for example, someone like Showore, when Showore was going through all of those things in Nigeria, if he had a means of leaving Nigeria to come here, he's got the real fear, and he's got proof, because who does not know Showore in Nigeria? If someone like Bobrisky should come into the UK, or Bobrisky get to the airport and say, Nagode, I am claiming asylum because of my gender, someone like Bobrisky will be, will be granted asylum and possibly being paid compensation as well, because here in the UK, they don't discriminate against gender. And if you have an issue with people discriminating against your gender, it's another ground for you claiming asylum. So people saying Tiamiyu was paid, no. No crime was committed against Tiamiyu, to the best of our knowledge, because we all know, according to in Tiamiyu's story, that he came on a student visa as a dependent with somebody. Only if the story he gave to the Home Office for asylum states that something else happened that we are not aware of. But then they don't give such amount of compensation. They don't. Home Office is not that. You know what? While you are claiming asylum, all the money that Home Office has been giving you, all these years, some people have been on asylum for 20 years. Some have been on asylum case for 14 years. Some have been on asylum for 6 years. And some have been lucky. There's a lady also that I interpreted for. She only claimed asylum for 9 months. After 9 months, Home Office granted her indefinite leave to remain. Yes, Home Office granted her asylum in 9 months. In 9 months, and she's a Nigerian. In fact, I'm still in communication with her till tomorrow. I have a number. We communicate once in a while. 6 months after she got her permanent residence in the UK, she moved straight to London, because I think she was originally living in London. So yeah, in 9 months she was granted asylum. And some people that I know, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, they were waiting to get asylum. And like I said, asylum process is very, very stressful. It's not for the wicked. It's not for the gentlest people at all. I've had people, reach out to me to say, obviously, I think they watched a video that I made years ago about asylum in the UK and stuff like that, my experiences. They asked me that would I encourage them to come claim asylum. My answer was no. You need to make that decision yourself. There's the good side to asylum, there's the bad side to asylum. In fact, people who are still in the Nigeria, they are telling me that, oh, they want to come to the UK so that she's disabled. And in fact, I'm filming from my phone. That DM is still in my Instagram. That money is not the problem to come to the UK, but because she's still disabled, she's this, she's that, that she wants to come and claim asylum in the UK. And I'm like, even at that, that's not how asylum works. I kind of like gave her my own the pros and cons, and I asked her to make a decision herself. That was what I did. And practically, that's what I've been telling people. If anybody asks me a question about asylum, I don't tell them yes and I don't tell them no. But I let them know that it's a 50-50 case. 50-50 that you might get at asylum, 50-50 you could be deported. Yes, you could deported. You could be deported. There are cases that I've seen where they've been here for asylum, they've settled down. They are living their life as if Home Office just came one day, broke their door, and then at that time, I can remember years ago, we would just say boom, boom. That's Home Office breaking down people's door, and Home Office will come and raid you in the middle of the night, about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning. They don't come during the day because they know if they come to raid you during the day, there will be people, because there were lots of people canvassing that asylum seekers should be left alone. They should not be deported, especially people with children. That leave them. They are here already. Why do you want to send them back? Lots of people always stand up. So because they know that people will be there to stop them, Home Office stop raiding during the day. They now do it in the morning. I remember when the flat I was living there, my next door neighbor, yeah, my next, I just hear boo, boo, boo. And she was like, no, I'm not going. I'm not going. No, I'm not going. That was the noise I was hearing at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I remember, I think I was pregnant with my first son then. They broke into her door and they took her away with her 3 kids. But at some point, I think they released her because after I got my permanent residency, I'm sure I've seen her a few times. This girl, she loves fast. This lady loves fast cars. Like, you need to see the kind of car she drives. But at some point, she was released and she got asylum as well. So they will come very early in the morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, break your door. They grab you. They don't even give you the chance to pack anything. No. And there've been people like that that they've raided them, taken them to detention center, and then straight to Nigeria, to wherever country they come from. So, like, asylum is not for the faint-hearted. For those of you who are still into it, for people who are in asylum now, if you ask them, they will tell you. But for me, if you ask me, should I come and claim asylum, I'll tell you yes and no. And I believe I've got a video on my channel. Try and go to my channel. I did share my experience of asylum there. Asylum is not for the faint-hearted at all. It's not for the faint-hearted at all. And if you want to go into asylum, let it be your last option. Let it be your last resort. Like this, if you don't want to marry Oyinbo, some people, rather than they claim asylum, they will marry a white person. So that way, it could be a female, it could be a male, regardless, they will marry a white person so that way their stay they are safe in a way. And then if the Oyinbo person now go ahead to marry them, that's them proper safe. And yeah, so Tiamiyu being given that amount of money, it's not true. No, 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 no. It's not true in any way, except there's something we are not aware of that it was paid for, but definitely not for settlement in the UK. No. And like I said in my previous video as well, that I still believe he's in the UK. I don't believe he's been deported. No. Because deportation doesn't happen that quick. I know, I understand that it's been a long time we've heard from him. And like I said in my previous video as well, there's a current video on his channel that he posted 2 days ago or 3 days ago. I don't believe he's been deported. I don't believe so. I believe he's still in the UK. Because someone also was dropping a comment that this guy, they still see him in Birmingham. That they still see Tiamiyu in Birmingham. So I think it's still is in Birmingham. People said they still see him in Birmingham. So if there's anybody watching this live and you catch Tiamiyu anywhere in Birmingham, please take a photo. Let us know. Let us know if it's still really in the UK. So guys, yeah, that's just my experience of how asylum process works. Like I said, asylum is 50-50 in the UK. It's 50-50 in UK, and like I said, don't let it be your first option. Okay, don't let it be your first option. It's at some point when I was in that process, it almost drew me mad. It almost drew me mad. But to God be the glory now. I was in it for 4 years, and I've obviously I've been resident in the UK since my status for over 10 years. But the overall time that I've spent in the UK, I've been in the UK since 2005. Yeah, I've been in the UK since 2005, so it's been a long time. Yeah. So don't go and think that money, don't let the money enter your eyes. They don't give anybody settlement in the UK with that amount of money. Yes, you may get your permanent residency, you may get your asylum, but you don't get that amount of money. The only time you get some form of settlement or payment from the Home Office after you claim asylum is if you're a victim of abuse, if you're a victim of, if you're someone who has been smuggled or trafficked into the UK, that is when a crime has been committed against you. And then at some point, you get some form of compensation. Yeah, compensation, not settlement payment, compensation. And that compensation is nothing as to what people have been saying that Tiamiyu was given. No. And I could be wrong on whatever reason Tiamiyu was given that money for. And like I said, there might be some things that we don't know about what he said in his asylum claim. So yeah, I'm tired of talking now, guys. It's my birthday weekend. I should be vibing, but I'm not doing that. I'm here lightly, and I think I'm enjoying the live. Anyway, I've been here for how many minutes now? 46 minutes. I just want to say thank you to those of you who are here. I can see Banigos TV. Banigos TV saying now, wow. Yeah, that's our asylum system. Asylum is not, it's not an easy thing at all. And I would say people in the UK's asylum in the UK is better as compared to other countries in Europe. Yeah, yeah, asylum in the UK is better as compared to others in Europe. But with that being said, let it be your last option. And if with it being your last option, bear in mind that it's a 50-50 chance of you getting settlement and 50-50 chance of you being deported back to your country. And at some point, I remember while you are still waiting to get a decision back from the Home Office, they were doing something like IOM were giving people £3,000 to return to voluntarily return back to their country of abode. So let's say, for instance, now you have been in the asylum system for 6 months or 9 months, and you know within yourself that your case is not going anywhere or your case is not going to land you asylum. So people like that, Home Office often offers them like an application to voluntarily return back home to Nigeria, and you get £3,000. I know of a family who did the application. They were a family of five, husband and wife, and three children. Yeah, they were in a state. I don't know how they were able to do it though, but that man was definitely dodgy. That man was he's a Nigerian, but definitely dodgy. So he said he used to live in Dublin, and then he says he has a permit in Dublin, but then they came over to the UK to claim asylum. And then 6 months into the asylum, they apply for the voluntary return back to Nigeria. So each family member gets £3,000. So you can imagine five of them, three times five, that's £15,000. Yeah, they were doing that voluntary return payment then. And I think a few people took advantage of it and a lot of people did not. Obviously, what is £3,000 compared to getting permanent residency here, and you know that you'll be well looked after, you'll be able to work, you'll still be able to use the NHS. There's better chances of you being settled here in the UK as compared to when you take the £3,000. And the good thing is, as an asylum seeker in the UK, while you are waiting to get a decision whether you get asylum or not, you are able to go to school funded by the government. You're not going to pay school fees. If it means that your asylum claim is going to take 5 years, look at the level of education you can get in that 5 years. You can go to college, go to enroll on a course. After 2 years, you are able to go to university. I've seen asylum seekers go to university. Yes, yes. And if you think after college you can't get funding for university, you can keep applying for all those college courses. Do so many trainings, and kids are still able to go to school as normal. You get support with paying, buying uniform for your kids. They don't deprive kids in all the basic essential needs they need, like education, nursery space. They don't deprive children for that. Parents as well, make use of your time. If you're somebody who's already claiming asylum in the UK and you are sitting on your house and you're not doing anything, I am not sorry for you, because at the end of the day, it's how you put yourself, how you plug yourself into the community at times could help with your asylum claim. If you're someone who's been in the asylum cell for 5 years and you've not gone to school, you've not applied for any training, you're just sitting down, waking up and sleeping, waking down and sleeping. At the end of the day, it will be very, very easy for the Home Office to send you back to your country of abode. But while you are waiting for your asylum claim, make use of that time. Make use of that time, because you are not able to work during that period. But what you are able to do is you are able to apply for courses, you are able to apply for trainings, you are able to go to college, go to school, learn so many things. And it will just benefit you, because at the end of the day, all of these things, because Home Office will be doing check-ins with you, they will ask you, what are you doing with your time? At some point, they will ask you. And if you're telling them you're going to college, this is what you're studying, those things will work for you in the nearest future. But if you're just sleeping and waking up, and you're not doing anything, it might just go against you at the end of the day when they are considering your case. Okay. So yeah, that's all I've got to say in regards to MD's Tiamiyu, whatever, that fake settlement fee, and how the asylum process works. And last words for you guys, like I said, if you're already in the asylum system, please make use of the time you are waiting. While you are waiting, get yourself into some course at college. It's free. College will even pay you for transport. They will pay you for food. So you have nothing to lose. Get yourself into training. Lots of people that I know during that time, they went into photography training. They went into IT training, and from there, eventually, if they eventually send them back to Nigeria, they've already got some sort of um learning, and then they can develop themselves, or maybe go into something when they go back to Nigeria. A few of people that I know also, they went to uni. Some I know studied nursing, some studied IT technology, a lot of people like that. So while you are waiting, take make good use of your time, okay? Because you are nobody, they are not stressing you to go and get a job, but learn something with that time. And after all, once you finally get a permanent residency, you can work. If it is work you want to do for the rest of your life, go on some. Nobody's going to stop you. And then you see enjoy more benefits of obviously being a resident in the UK. So with that being said, and also, like I said, let asylum be your last option. And if you're going to claim asylum, make sure you have your evidences to support whatever reason why you are claiming asylum. Like I said, there's an eligibility you're meant to meet. If you don't meet that eligibility, I've seen cases of people who don't meet the eligibility, they were deported within a space of days. Yeah, they go for their interview, that screening, the first interview, they go for that first interview. That's where they held them. They hold them like, no, 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 no. Or maybe someone that they've seen before, they will hold you. Someone like that, it will only take almost 3 days to send them back. Mm. Yeah, it happens like that. But if you have a solid proof or evidence for why you are claiming asylum, then you might succeed. But like I said, let it be your last option. And eventually, if you find yourself in it, put it in mind 50-50, you could be deported or you could get asylum. So, guys, has anybody got any question you would like to ask? I mean, you will want me to answer? Kindly drop them in the comment section. I've got another 7 minutes here, and it's going to be an hour. So, if you have a question for me, kindly drop it in the comment section. I will try and answer it before I leave. And to those of you who have watched me till now, in and out, thank you so much. I thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. And it's kind of like lonely doing this live alone. If it is gossip now, lots of people will be here. Because it's not gossip, there's not a lot of people here. And like I said, the link to this air, I'll be popping it in the description box for those of you who are interested in it, because I've had lots of people ask me for it. So yeah, I've been rocking it to work, and people at work were like, wow, Wemi, we love this air. I love how beautiful it is. I wish I could do it as a sewing, but I can't sleep with all this air on my head. So yeah, has anyone got any question for me? If you have any question for me, kindly ask now before I leave. 5 more minutes to go, and then I'll be out of here. I need to go and eat my lovely. I made grilled catfish. Yes, that's going to be my dinner. Grilled catfish and air fried yam. So I can't wait. I'm salivating. So if anyone has any question for me, kindly ask in the comment now. I've got a few more minutes, and if not, I guess I should start saying my goodbyes. Guys, go catch up on the videos on my channel. watch, like, and share. If you've been watching all of my videos till now, and you're not subscribing, remember the Lord is watching you. Remember the Lord is watching you. If you are watching and you're not dropping comments, remember the Lord is watching you. If you are watching and you have not turned on the post notification, remember the Lord is watching you. And if you are watching and you are not sharing me, you have the capacity, you have the power, the grace to share me, and you are not sharing me. Remember, the Lord is watching you. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and have a lovely weekend. And I shall see you again. Like I said, if there's any topic you would like me to discuss, either live or as a sit-down video, please drop them on the poll I have on my community tab, and I will try my possible best um to do them. And also, guys, there's a personal update I'll be sharing with you at some point. There's an health update I'll be sharing with you at some point. um I'm going to be getting surgery, yes, but I will definitely be back here. So once I'm off during that time recovering, I would love to come on live here, and let's do some sort of chatting. But I'll let you know um when I get surgery and when I come out and what surgery it is. I'll let you know. A few of you must have maybe saw a comment here and there that I dropped in a couple of videos that I've watched. But yeah, I'm terrified, but I know my colleagues will be looking after me because yeah, I received my letter today. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, for those of you who have gifted me for my birthday, thank you so much. All the gifts I received are all in Naira. So I might just be returning the favor as well. So I would think of what to do, and I'll drop a comment in the community post. I might just do a mini giveaway for those who have been consistent. If you've not been consistent on my channel, sorry, you're not getting it. So I'm still thinking about it because, like I said, I'm working, I'm earning a living. YouTube is not necessarily my source of income, but the gift I've received for my birthday so far since a few days now, I feel I should give to people who have been watching me. And yeah, I'll decide how to go about that. And I will definitely be dropping a post on my community. And if not, I might just maybe leave it till end of the year, maybe towards Christmas period, and do something tangible then. Anyway, guys, this is the end of this live. Like I said, if you have any questions, if you're watching back, kindly leave your questions in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer them all. Thank you all so much. Have a great weekend wherever you are. And I shall see you in my next live or in my next video. All right. Bye.